Hello, scholars. Welcome back. I hope you all are doing fine. Today, we are going to start with Grade 7 New Images, Lesson 5, that is Father's Help, which is written by R.K. Narayan. Now, I want all of you to open page number 42. Let us read out the introduction of the writer. R.K. Narayan was an Indian writer. His name is often taken along with Mulk Raj Anand and Raja Rao as one of the fathers of Indian literature in the English language. He earned his bachelor's degree from Maharaja College of Mysore. In 1930, he wrote his first novel, Swami and Friends, which got published in 1935. He won the Sahitya Akademi Award for his novel, The Guide. Father's Help appeared in Narayan's book called Malgudi School Days. It is a classic children's book and many generations have cherished it in India. So, Malgudi School Days is a very famous book which is written by R.K. Narayan, and most of his books or the novels are based on the character that is Swaminathan. Like his other works, this book is also set in the fictional South Indian town of Malgudi. It is a book revolving around a funny little boy called Swami and his peculiar antics. Children played a crucial role in Narayan's life as well as work. The writer has been applauded for his realistic depiction of the day-to-day life of a child in India. So, most of the stories or the novels written by R.K. Narayan were based on the life of children. Now, I want each one of you to take a pencil and let us start reading the story on page number 43. Lying in bed, Swaminathan realized with a shudder that it was Monday morning. It looked as though only a moment ago it had been the last period on Friday. But Monday was already here. He hoped that an earthquake would reduce the school building to dust, but that good building, Albert Mission School, had withstood similar prayers for over 100 years now. So, as I told you, this is a story about a boy, Swaminathan. And once he woke up and he realized that it was Monday morning and now he had to go to school. The name of his school was Albert Mission School. He did not want it to go to school, and so he was hoping that an earthquake would reduce the school building to dust. Let us read forward now. At 9 o'clock, Swaminathan wailed, "I have a headache." His mother said, "Why don't you go to school in a jutka, so that I may be completely dead at the other end? Have you any idea what it means to be jolted in a jutka? Have you many important lessons today?" So, here Swaminathan gave an excuse that I have a headache. So, his mother told that you can go to school in a jutka. Here, the word jutka means a horse-drawn carriage. It can be a tonga or a rickshaw. And his mother also asked that, have you any important lessons today? Important? Bah, that geography teacher has been teaching the same lesson for over a year now. And we have arithmetic, which means for a whole period we are going to be beaten by the teacher. Important lessons. and mother generously suggested that Swaminathan might stay at home. At 9:30, when he ought to have been in the school prayer hall, Swaminathan was lying on the bench in mother's room. Father asked him, "Have you no school today?" So Swaminathan gives excuses again that the geography teacher has been teaching the same lesson throughout the year, and he also tells that during the arithmetic class we are just beaten up by the teacher, so these are nothing important. So his mother told that you can stay at home. And at 9:30, when he was supposed to be at the school prayer hall, he was lying on the bench in the mother's room. So then his father came and asked that, "Have you no school today?" Now let us read forward. Headache. Swaminathan replied, "Nonsense. Dress up and go. Headache. Loaf about less on Sundays and you will be without a headache on Mondays." Swaminathan knew how stubborn his father could be and changed his tactics. "I can't go so late to the class." So, when his father asked, he replied that "I have a headache." But his father told, "What nonsense, just dress up and go to school." Then Swaminathan knew that his father was very strict and would not change his decision, so he had to change his tactics. Tactics means the tricks he was using. So he gave another excuse that "I can't go to school so late." "I agree, but you'll have to. It is your own fault. You should have asked me before deciding to stay away. What will the teacher think if I go so late? Tell him you had a headache and so are late. He will beat me if I say so." "Will he? Let us see. What is his name?" "Samuel." So his father told that you will have to go to school because it is your own fault. So here Swaminathan gave an excuse that he will beat me. He said that his teacher, that is Samuel, is going to beat him for being late. Now you may open page number 44. Let us start reading from there. Does he beat the boys? He is very violent, especially with boys who come late. Some days ago, a boy was made to stay on his knees for a whole period in a corner of the class because he came late. And that after getting 6 cuts from the cane and having his ears twisted. I wouldn't like to go late to Samuel's class. If he is so violent, why not tell your headmaster about it? They say that even the headmaster is afraid of him. He is such a violent man. So here Swaminathan told his father that Samuel, that is their teacher, was very violent. He told about an incident where a boy was made to stay on his knees because he came late. He was punished and his teacher also gave 6 cuts from the cane. That is, he used to beat them with the ruler and he also used to twist their ears. So Swaminathan's father told that why don't you complain it to your headmaster? And then Swaminathan gave a lurid account of Samuel's violence, how when he started canning he would not stop till he saw blood on the boy's hand, which he made the boy press to his forehead like a vermilion marking. Swami hoped that with this his father would be made to see that he couldn't go to his class late. But Father's behavior took an unexpected turn. He became excited. What do these teachers mean by beating our children? They must be driven out of service. I will see. So, here Swaminathan told something very shocking about his teacher. He told that Samuel keeps on beating the boys till he saw blood on their hand. And he also tells the boys to put that blood onto their forehead. So, by giving all these excuses, Swami thought that his father would be convinced and he would tell him not to go to school. But nothing like this happened. His father became more excited and he told that I am going to see that teacher. And he said that how can that teacher beat our children like this? The result was that he proposed to send Swaminathan late to his class as a kind of challenge. He was also going to send a letter with Swaminathan to the headmaster. No amount of protest from Swaminathan was to any avail. He had to go to school. By the time he was ready, father had composed a long letter to the headmaster, put it in an envelope and sealed it. So his father wrote a long letter as a complaint against the teacher and he told Swami to hand it over to the headmaster. What have you written, father? Swaminathan asked apprehensively. Nothing for you. Give it to your headmaster and go to your class. Have you written anything about our teacher, Samuel? Plenty of things about him. When your headmaster reads it, he will probably dismiss Samuel from the school and hand him over to the police. What has he done, father? Well, there is a full account of everything he has done in this letter. Give it to your headmaster and go to your class. You must bring an acknowledgement from him in the evening. So, Swami asked his father that, what have you written in the letter? So, his father replied that I have written plenty of things about Samuel. And after reading all those things, the headmaster will definitely dismiss Samuel from the school and hand him over to the police. And his father also told that I would like to know the reply in the evening. Now, let us read out on page number 45. Swaminathan went to school feeling that he was the worst perjurer on earth. His conscience bothered him. He wasn't at all sure if he had been accurate in his description of Samuel. He could not decide how much of what he said was imagined and how much of it was real. So, when he was going to school, he thought that he was the worst perjurer. Here, the word perjurer means one who lies. And he was very confused that whatever description he gave about Samuel was imagined and how much of it was real. Now, let us read out the next paragraph. He stopped for a moment on the roadside to make up his mind about Samuel. His cane-skinned people's hands. Swaminathan cast his mind about for an instant on this. There was none within his knowledge. Years and years ago, he was reputed to have skinned the knuckles of a boy in the first standard and made him smear the blood on his face. No one had actually seen it, but year after year, the story persisted among the boys. Swaminathan's head was dizzy with confusion in regard to Samuel's character. Whether he was good or bad, whether he deserved the allegations in the letter or not, He felt an impulse to run home and beg his father to take back the letter. But father was an obstinate man. So Swaminathan stopped for a moment and he was thinking about Samuel. So he remembered an incident where Samuel had hit a boy in the first standard and smeared the blood on his face, but it was just a rumor. So Swaminathan was confused that whether Samuel was a good person or a bad person and whether he deserved the allegations in the letter or not. And he wanted to run back home and wanted to tell all the things to his father, but he knew that his father was a very stubborn man. He would not listen to him. As he approached the yellow building, he realized that he was perjuring himself and was ruining his teacher. Probably the headmaster would dismiss Samuel and then the police would chain him and put him in jail. For all this disgrace, humiliation, and suffering, who would be responsible? Swaminathan shuddered. The more he thought of Samuel, the more he grieved for him. As he felt the bulge of the letter in his pocket, he felt like an executioner. So here, Swami was feeling the burden of the letter in his pocket because he knew that if the letter is going to reach the headmaster, then this letter is going to destroy the career of his teacher. And he knew that if all these things are going to happen, then he will be responsible for all this. As he entered the school gate, an idea occurred to him, a sort of solution. He wouldn't deliver the letter to the headmaster immediately, but at the end of the day. To that extent, he would disobey his father and exercise his independence. There was nothing wrong in it, and father would not know it anyway. If the letter was given at the end of the day, there was a chance that Samuel might do something to justify the letter. So, when Swami entered the school gate, an idea occurred in his mind. He thought that he would not deliver the letter immediately to the headmaster. He thought that Samuel might beat him for coming late to the school and this would justify the letter. Swaminathan stood at the entrance to his class. Samuel was teaching arithmetic. He looked at Swaminathan for a moment. Swaminathan stood hoping that Samuel would fall on him and tear his skin off. But Samuel merely asked, "Are you just coming to the class?" So Swami was hoping that Samuel is going to hit him for coming late to the school. I hope you all enjoyed the video. We'll be continuing the lesson in the next video. Assignments and worksheets are given in the description box. Keep practicing them. We will be meeting in the next video. Till then, stay home, stay safe, keep washing your hands. Thank you.